Hello guys, I'm Fox, and this is a Medieval 2 Total War. Wow, I actually managed to say that. I've been stumbling over saying that for ages, like But anyway, this is a Medieval 2 Total War multiplayer battle from fucking donkeys ago. Me and Deviss played a match ages ago, and we were like, holy shit, that was such an awesome match, and we just never did anything with it. I recorded, not recorded, I like saved the replay. But yeah, and now I thought, hey, I don't know what to put on the channel, so me and Deviss are both in the Deckle gaming community, might as well fucking put this up. So, just a brief heads up, I'm going to quickly go over the unit composition of all the armies here, be as quick as I can. If you don't want to see that, then I'm going to put up a link, and it's going to be up for about 5 seconds. Click it if you want to skip straight to the battle. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now let's get into the composition. So, I have one General's Bodyguard unit. I've got 4 units of dismounted Imperial Knights, just chilling out. Actually, I believe I've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I must be mistaken. Yeah, I must be. Okay, so 4 units of dismounted Imperial Knights, and 1, 2, 3, 4 units of dismounted Gothic Knights, which, just look at that, they just look awesome. It's really, really awesome. What else? We also, this is, right, okay, so the majority of my army, well, I mean, a large proportion compared to what I'd usually have. I've got 5 units, sorry, of Deviss crossbowmen, and they definitely did well in this fight as well. They're pretty good units, pretty solid. A lot of damage, but yeah, they can take a beating if they really need to. I guess because they're armor upgrades. But, yep, and also, I like cavalry. I like using it a lot, but I decided to really not take a lot. I've got 2 units of Teutonic Knights. I believe these knights get just destroyed. Like, I think they're a good unit, but if I remember correctly, I fucked it up in this this match. You might see it. So that's my Holy Roman Empire army. Deviss, however, the reason why I took less cav is because Deviss over here is playing as France, who have like the best cavalry in the game. They're ridiculous. He's got 4 units of lancers. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 units of dismounted chivalric knights. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of armored sergeants. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Scots Guard. I thought he had 5 actually, but I must be mistaken again. And 1 unit of pikes. Kind of an interesting take. I don't even remember him taking the pikes, but we'll see if they came in handy. And obviously his General's Bodyguard unit. Okay, going over to our sworn enemy. We are playing against England and Spain. It was difficult, I'm not going to lie. When we saw Spain, we were kind of shitting ourselves. Spain are really powerful in Medieval 2, especially the native game. Like, yeah, they're just really good. Mainly because of this unit. Not that unit. This unit. Dismounted Conquistadors. Mental. They just tear people up in melee. They're difficult as hell. Anyway, let's get into the composition. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Knights of Santiago. These guys don't mess around. These are a pretty dependable cavalry unit, I'm not gonna lie. In the fight, they were a real pain in our ass for a lot of it, you'll see. Also, Spain has also taken 1 unit of pikemen, tertio pikemen. I'm not completely sure if they're better than the pikemen that he's taken for France. I'd imagine they are, since they look like a special unit. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of sword and buckler men. Weaker than conquistadors, still pretty dependable infantry. They can get the job done. 1, 2, 3, 4 units of dismounted conquistadors. This is where the real punch is in this guy's army. Like, if he can get these guys mixed into melee, then yeah, they'll tear people up. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry. 1, 2, 3 units of tertio pikemen. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Deviss crossbowmen, and then 1 peasant crossbowman. So, pretty good army, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty terrifying to face. Now England is, oh, did I mention the Spanish bodyguard? I don't know. Anyway, General's Bodyguard for England. 1, 2, 3, yep, 3 units of dismounted English knights. which is mental. Those guys are pretty good. Amazingly, those dismounted English knights are actually really good against cavalry. Like, these guys will tear up cavalry if they get stuck into melee with them. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units of armored swordsmen and 1 unit of heavy billmen. Sorry, 2 units of heavy billmen. England's gone pretty heavy on the infantry, it would seem, but also on the archers. Oh, sorry. Would that make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of English dismounted knights? Wait, no, I'm a dummy again. 4 units of dismounted English knights. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 3 units of English knights. If I remember, there's nothing really special about English knights. They're just knights, really. They're pretty good. They're just not anything special like the Santiago knights or whatever. Okay, and then here's this guy's punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of retinue longbowmen. They will tear you up if they can just fire shots at you. Interesting to note, he placed his stakes down here. I'm not sure if he was expecting a defensive battle. That might be why he took so many longbows, but he definitely didn't get it. So, yeah, I guess this will be kind of the area where I bring everyone back. So, I've already explained the roster, and let's just explain really quickly what we were going to do. So, me and Deviss knew that we were going against England and France, and we knew that we didn't want to be drawn into this kind of, like, charging combat. We didn't want to have to attack them because we'd lose so many men. So, luckily for us, I spawned right here on the biggest hill in the map. So we immediately pretty much said, yeah, let's defend that fucking hill. Which is why Deviss looks like he's in a formation, which is going to sprint towards me. I guess the only thing else to do is to start this. Let's go. Yeah, so immediately Deviss was coming over to me, really just sprinting, because I think he knew that if he got caught out in the open with Spain, he might not do that well. Spain is immediately sending forward their crossbows, and in fact England as well is sending all their missile units straight at Deviss. The peasant crossbowmen get some shots off. However, those are some pretty heavy armoured lancers. I don't think they're going to do much, if I'm honest. Yeah, so just getting some shots off. Not many, actually. I think they're actually getting out of range. Killed 1. Kind of shitty. 2, sorry. Killed 2. The English knights are looking to cut Deviss off by the looks of it. They don't do a successful job. They do charge into his lancers. And a cavalry fight ensues. In terms of what I'm doing, there isn't much that I can do. I'm staying on the hill. I believe I'm sending over my Teutonic Knights to try and aid Deviss. Although I'm pretty sure he might say not to. I believe I was like, hey, I'm going to send some knights over, and then he was like, no, it's fine, I'll just get over here. Deviss is micromanaging his cavalry to encircle the English knights, which is doing nicely for him. He probably would have won this cavalry engagement if it wasn't for all these units coming in to aid. The bulk of Deviss's army, his main army infantry, is approaching the hill now. I've moved off my Teutonic Knights to just kind of stop them from thinking, hey, let's attack him while he's going up the hill. Again, his lancers are tearing into these English knights. 2 units have broken, unfortunately. Mainly due to all the infantry that was backing him up. At this point, it is literally just, we're going to have to defend this hill. I've sent my Teutonic Knights in. Looks like they're going to go in for the charge on these heavy billmen. And a good solid charge it was. Yep, just tearing apart that unit. The other cavalry unit is also coming in, striking into the heavy billmen, but a rock stops half of them. Nevertheless, we should do some damage to these heavy bowmen. And these Teutonic Knights have, yeah, pretty much put these guys up. Fire from the English longbowmen is coming in to attack our Teutonic Knights. Never a good thing. And the English Knights are rounding up his routed lancers. Never a good thing. Up on the hill, Deviss is just forming a defensive position. God, this is like a really fast-paced recording, isn't it? I'm having to like go here. Yeah, my Teutonic Knights, I believe I sent them in basically just to give him time. Alright, so this is where a lot of the casualties on the enemy side is going to be coming in. If you've noticed, Deviss's Scots Guard are opening fire on these infantry. And those Scots Guard, even though these men are really well armoured, they're going to tear into them. Like, there's going to be a lot of casualties based off his missiles. There's not much the enemy can do about it. So yeah, as you can see, just tearing them apart. Every man that these arrows hits is one less we have to face in melee, so all good. At this point, they can probably see that we're forming a defensive position. They're probably shitting themselves a bit that they're going to have to attack it. However, they do have the numbers, it would seem. I believe we were outnumbered for this fight. Spain is forming up with England, and then we're having a little archer volleys going off. They're still rounding up his lancers, and England appears to be trying to perform a flanking maneuver. However, I'm sure Deviss' units will be firing on them pretty soon. In terms of me, I'm still defending this approach. I believe a little bit later in the fight, I swing my guys round a bit, since they're not going to be that effective from this angle. By the way, Deviss has still got 16 lancers that survived the fight. Deviss' Scots Guard are firing. And at this point, it really is just an archer engagement. My Device crossbowmen don't have the range to engage like his Scots Guard do, so I just hold them back. Deviss is changing his formation. Appears like he's putting his infantry up front. Or maybe just pulling back a little bit. In terms of the enemy, they are forming up for an attack, it would seem. They're getting ready, they're forming up together. Again, the generals, England's trying to form this little flank. Trying to stretch around a bit. England is also over here. I believe Deviss opens up with his Scots Guard pretty soon on these guys. We noticed them flanking. Making the shooting noise, but I believe the enemy are out of sight. So. I don't believe his general's bodyguard got caught in that engagement, so I think he's okay. Let me take a look. I've got 31. I do, so yeah, his bodyguard's okay. Just foreshadowing, this fight really comes down to the wire. Like, it was really close, like a matter of 3 units fighting and stuff like that. It was pretty awesome. I believe he's covering in range for him to engage now. He's still not firing any arrows. I think he's targeting maybe these units over there, the armored swordsmen. Possibly. I might say to him that he's being flanked. I'm not sure. As you can see, the enemy is surrounding the hill. It's quite an impressive sight, really. But we are pretty adamant that we can defend it. Deviss has moved his armored sergeants over to my flank. Oh, and the English general is charging his bodyguard in by the looks of it. Is it a stupid move? Let's find out. Charging uphill, which is never a good thing for starters. I think I'm pulling my cavalry back, and Deviss is sending his armored sergeants round. And the English general runs with his tail between his legs. Now, the Spanish have brought their Device crossbowmen over to engage with mine, it would seem. Obviously, I've got the advantage since I'm on the hill. Deviss' Scots Guard are continuing to just absolutely annihilate anything on the field. Really, I can't exaggerate how much those Scots Guard were at help. Especially with our elevated position, they just have the ability to tear shit up. As you can see over here, the bodies of the cavalry engagement at the beginning. Quite an horrific one. You guys are firing flaming shot, not sure how effective that will be. Yeah, they're actually doing pretty good damage. I'm starting to fire my Device crossbowmen down the hill for these guys. On the right flank, he's starting to move up Device crossbowmen more up the hill, probably to get more of a direct line of sight. However, my Device crossbowmen are firing down at them, and just because of the elevated position, I should be doing quite good damage. Yeah, his Device crossbowmen are pushing up really hard. Getting kills though. Here we see them pushing up. They're gonna stop right here. I'm not sure if this was a good idea on the enemy side. Maybe? I don't know. I mean, I'm not targeting any of these guys, so perhaps. On Deviss' flank, the English have engaged his melee units, armored sergeants against armored swordsmen. The armored swordsmen will be beat in this engagement. However, the Scots Guard supporting with their arrows will be a lot of help. As you can see, the Scots Guard tearing into the Knights of Santiago. On the far left flank, Deviss has brought down his Tertio Pikeman. I've sent down a dismounted Imperial Knights unit. I'm not sure where they're going. But the English Knights have engaged us. And his pikemen are actually going to get engaged in the flank, perhaps? Nope. He turns to face. Just not in time to drop their pikes, it would seem. However, they will probably still win that fight. Actually, they might not. Yep, they dropped their pikes, because they are silly. Scots Guard have decimated this Knight of Santiago unit. And on the front, the infantry are still engaging. I charged down with my General's Bodyguard, sorry, to try and strike at some of these guys, but I pull him back. Lost about 3 men. On the far right flank, the Precise Crossbowmen are still engaging each other, whittling each other down slowly. I believe I'm winning the engagement, however. Probably purely due to my elevation. I'm sending in my dismounted Gothic Knights now to face the enemy infantry. And a charge. Right, combat over here is going to be long. The combats on this flank are going to last till the end of the fight. Yep, as you can see, the enemy's lost half his army already. That was mainly due to those Scots Guard annihilating before they got into the field. The left flank ain't looking so good. There's a lot of English Knights and Knights of Santiago just roaming around with our infantry. Not very good. However, the Knights of Santiago just broke 24 of them. That'll help. More Scots Guard laying into these Knights. Just, it's beautiful to see. Deviss's infantry are trying to hold the line on this flank, however they are outnumbered and Knights of Santiago are coming in. On this flank we feel a lot more secure. We've got more infantry than him and it would seem like we have better infantry. On the far right flank I am starting to lose this this missile battle. It's not looking good, but I think we'll be okay. The enemy General's Bodyguard is just chasing over here. I've got some more dismounted Gothic Knights. My General's Bodyguard keeps losing men. I keep charging him in to get some hammer and anvil strikes on these crossbowmen and stuff, but he is taking casualties. In the center where the main combat is, we are winning decisively. Like, we have so many more units than him just charging in. In hindsight, we probably should have micromanaged and take some units around his flank, but we didn't. He's trying to fire Precise Crossbowmen into our flank, but yeah, that's not happening. Right now he's moving his sword and buckler men, Spanish. All the sword and bucklers are coming up, but I counter-charge to try and save the flank. On the left flank we've completely routed, which will be good news for us, as it means we can wrap around and start annihilating him. So far it's still about 50-50. We've got 39% of our men killed, he's lost 50. On the right flank, it's not looking as good as it was before, since Spain has brought his army in. Basically, at the beginning, it was other than the Knights of Santiago, it was just the English army attacking. And now that Spain's come in with their dismounted conquistadors and stuff, this right flank is looking a bit unstable. However, due to our destroying of the enemy's left flank, we've managed to wrap units around, and we're just destroying this flank. And as such, these dismounted conquistadors might have a hard time if we manage to get the flanking in. However, we didn't wrap around completely to attack these conquistadors. We've decided to attack the enemy's bow units and get rid of that, as they are quite deadly. Up on the hill, my Precise Crossbowmen are still firing away. The Spanish dismounted conquistadors are charging up the hill towards my Precise Crossbowmen. However, I've got skirmish mode on, and they're only going to catch one unit. My General's Bodyguard and Deviss's General's Bodyguard are both together over here, and we're charging down into the Spanish Precise Crossbowmen. He's taking one, I'm taking the other. It was literally a I've got the right one, you've got the left kind of situation. On the main combat, our infantry's losing. He's brought in the pikemen, which is going to do some terrible damage to us. It's not looking good at all. This is where we were kind of like, shit, this might not go well for us now. We were pretty confident when the left flank fell, but maybe not now. My infantry should be coming back to the fight. I've stupidly let them run off.
Only half our force remains.
Some of Deviss's infantry gets caught in a horrific charge. He loses 2 units of chivalric knights. It's quite interesting to think how the battle might have changed if he didn't lose those 2 units. It was an unlucky charge, but yeah, 2 units of chivalric knights could have helped a lot. Fortunately, they go down. He's brought in spears to help, but no, those knights are fucked. On the main infantry, the main assault, we are wrapping round or attempting to. The tertiary pikemen have been caught in the flank by his armoured sergeants. They should win. Again, in the flank, dismounted knights have come in to attack. My bodyguard unit is tearing up some infantry. And also, Deviss' bodyguard unit is still over here attacking dismounted conquistadors. Near the top of the hill, anyway, near the peak, my Gothic Knights have engaged a dismounted conquistador unit. The conquistador unit should win, I would imagine, but it just looks like victory is certain, so whatever. Further up the hill, the Precise crossbowmen keep firing into the flanks of these Knights of Santiago, whittling them down slowly. Deviss has still got some Scots Guard units, but I believe the majority of them were destroyed. Sorry, no, the Scots Guard are going to be destroyed, unfortunately. They did well, however. They were most of the casualties in this battle caused. I mean, back in the center where combat looked so good for us at the start is now just fading away. Like we've only got 2 units defending that center. The rest are Spanish and English units. I believe Deviss might have said to me, "Hey, you've got like 2 units just sat in the corner over here, not doing anything." I'm not sure when I'll pull them back in, but until that time happens, they're just getting shot to fuck. So it's not good. That's 2 units of dismounted Imperial Knights we could have used. Down here, the Knights of Santiago still wreaking havoc. Like, you see what I mean when I said they were just a pain in the arse. They're attacking the infantry in the flank here, doing hammer and anvils, and they were attacking his Scots Guard up here. However, they are dead. My dismounted Gothic Knights were doing well against the Conquistadors, but he's reinforced with a tertiary pikeman, so that combat probably won't go too well for me. On the front, it's had a weird change. So before we were on top of the hill, now we're attacking up the hill towards his men, which is not good for us, but oh well. My general's bodyguard unit is still around here, just going around the flanks of the enemy, tearing them up. I believe I'm attacking his retinue longbowmen still. Oh no, I'm charging into the flank of the Santiago. Okay, so that was definitely a fuck yes moment. I remember when we were playing, when we saw the general die. Very, very helpful. Unfortunately, no one breaks. It wasn't like it was a mass rout. However, that morale bonus might be good in the future. This fight is not looking well for us. Fighting against conquistadors in general is never good, but fighting uphill against conquistadors is even worse. Excuse me. However, Deviss is bringing in some more infantry to assist, and that combat's looking a lot more promising. My Gothic Knight's trying to hold the line still against these tertiary pikemen. He's moved his conquistadors around to try and engage my Precise crossbowmen, but I'm not allowing it. I'm turning skirmish mode on. I'm pulling every trick out of my hat to try and stop him getting them. And because I've got 3 units, they should be able to skirmish with this conquistador unit and just drag them down to nothing. Over here, Deviss' Scots Guard have been engaged by sword and buckler men. Amazingly, although Scots Guard are missile units. So there we go, another general's dead. Although the Scots Guard are missile units, they are very good melee. They are very good. They can hold their ground. Maybe not against these conquistadors, but in other occasions they can. And in fact, as you can see, he's putting them down the hill a bit more. Over here, the combat is still not going well. The fact that we've killed both their generals is pretty amazing. All their men are shaken. So if we can get some good charges in the flank, which I believe is what Deviss is trying to do with the Scots Guard, we can break them. As you can see, instantly, that conquistador unit broke. That's 34 conquistadors just gone. He's continuing to charge down the hill. Over here, my Gothic Knights unfortunately failed. My general's bodyguard is down to 1 man, just my general, and he's chasing away some armoured swordsmen. He was quite heroic. He's doing well. Good lad. However, I'm not sure if he dies or not. Yeah, there goes my dad. Unfortunately, that's just something. I brought my Imperial Knights back to try and attack. The combat looks like we're winning, kind of, but it is very hectic. Like, there's a lot of flanking maneuvers going on. It's quite dangerous. Deviss still got some Scots Guard units up on the hill. And I've still got all my Precise crossbowmen who are firing down the hill. If we're going to follow these shots, I believe they're firing into the flank of the enemy. Yep, into these knights that are just getting torn up by them. So very happy with that. My Imperial Knights are coming into the flank of these tertiary pikemen, but they've already broken. The Knights of Santiago get a good charge in on my rear, but there's just not enough of them to cause too much damage. So my men turn to face and will start engaging. In terms of infantry, we are winning that fight. These knights are tearing into these conquistadors now. Knights of Santiago have broken, and I'll probably start pulling down my precise crossbowmen pretty soon. All in all, this was a hectic fight. Me and Deviss were constantly communicating. We were constantly having to tell people what to do, and constantly having to micromanage flanking in the infantry. It was very difficult. A very fun fight, though. As you can see, we've gained the upper advantage. It's basically just infantry units attacking missiles now. There is a few units of infantry for the enemy still rocking it out down here. These conquistadors were putting in a good effort. They were winning that fight. I believe I moved around some Imperial Knights and charged them in the flank. And also Deviss' Scots Guard are opening fire on the enemy missiles, keeping them occupied. Yep, I've moved my precise crossbowmen down now.
Continue like this, and victory is
In
ours.
fact, I believe these precise crossbowmen here are targeting these tertiary pikemen. Let's see, let's find out. Yep, it would appear so. Getting in some good casualties and just performing more of a morale damage, getting hit by missile infantry in the back while you're in melee. The English still have quite a lot of retinue longbowmen, which are just being a pain in our arse, basically. Deviss is trying to engage with the Scots Guard. I'm not sure who's better out of English retinue longbowmen and Scots Guard. They're probably equal-footed. It would appear so, anyway. In terms of the infantry fight, we're still just trying to whittle down these tertiary pikemen and conquistadors. It looks like the tertiary pikemen have failed. They've failed the morale check and are falling back. Conquistadors are still fighting like demons. They're really holding us at bay. However, I'm moving my precise crossbowmen down to try and target these conquistadors in the flank, and I believe that makes them rout. It either makes them rout or just tears them up. I believe I moved one unit around to flank and the others engaged the enemy retinue longbowmen because Deviss needed help with them since his Scot Guard was starting to fall down. Yeah, this unit is going to go into the flank of the conquistadors, and these two, I believe, we're firing at these.
We have broken the enemy army.
Yep, there goes the
Now it is time
conquistadors.
to crush the swine.
And once his infantry was gone, we knew that we could win. The enemy army started routing, and I believe this is the beginning of the end. Yep, they're all starting to rout. Our precise crossbowmen and Scots Guard are targeting.
That was a closely won battle.
And that's the battle. Very difficult. Lot of bodies on this hill. It was a massacre, and only a few units left. Yeah. So as you can see, I believe we were outnumbered, only by about 300 or so, and it was pretty horrific. A lot of casualties. We both killed over 1,000. Well, we had to, and only about 200 friendly kills. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed seeing this. It was really fun just recording it. So, somebody forgot to do an outro, didn't they? So now I'm sat here in Audacity. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the replay, and if you want any more, whatever, subscribe and like, and do all that jazz. I will leave you to some soothing music. Have a good one. Bye!